Okay guys, so let me just show you something quite shocking. The Great Purge fire of the 19th century. I'm gonna name here some of the most craziest events which has happened in major cities, and in all of these places a massive fire erupted. Coincidentally, it's between the year 1800 and guess what? The end of the 19th century, 1870 something. This, guys, is no coincidence. Let me just start off with the first one. The Great Fire of Copenhagen. That's right. Then, next one. The Great Fire of Moscow, 1812. So, 1807 Copenhagen, 1812 Moscow. Then from 1812 to 1814, guess what? The war in which Buffalo, New York, Upper Canada, Washington DC were involved. Again, a lot of destruction and reset. Next one, 1813 Postmort Fire. Next one, New York, 1814, another brick fire. 1820, the Great Fire of Savannah in USA. 1827, the Great Fire at Turku in Finland. 1831, the Great Fire in North Carolina. 1838, the Great Fire of Charleston in South Carolina. And by the way, many of these fires actually happened in cultural places where lots of libraries, places of knowledge, were completely destroyed to the ground. Very important. When you want to reset a culture, which what they did in the 19th century when they literally obliterated the old world order, this is what you do. You just cause fires everywhere. Let's continue. 1842, the Great Hamburg Fire. 1845, the New York City Fire. 1845 again, the Great Fire of Pittsburgh. 1847, the Great Fire of Bucharest in Romania, also affected by this reset. 1849, the Great Fire of Toronto. 1850, the Great Fire of Krakow in Poland. 1851, the Great Fire of San Francisco. 1852, the Great Fire of Montreal. Guess what? It happens everywhere in the world. As you can see there, Russia, Europe, especially also North America. And these are just, by the way, before we continue, these are obviously a summary of some of the greatest fires. There were also smaller fires which are not that crazy, but also affected different regions of the world. So this is not the only ones, by the way. There were so many happening in the 19th century. This is why this, from my point of view, is called the reset by fire. Let's continue. 1854, the Great Fire of Newcastle in England. Of course, UK doesn't escape the reset. 1862, the Great Fire again of New York City. 1864, the Great Fire of Brisbane. Then we have from 1861 to 1865 the American Civil War, in which again a lot of knowledge, cultures, information is completely burned to the ground. Surprise. Next one, 1861, Charleston, South Carolina again. 1864, the Great Fire of Atlanta in Georgia. 1865, the Columbia Great Fire in South Carolina. 1865 again, the Richmond Great Fire in Virginia. 1866, the Great Fire of Portland. 1868, the Great Fire of Bavaria. 1870, the Great Fire of Ohio in Medina. And finally, 1871, simultaneous big fires in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Illinois at the same time. This is no coincidence, guys. Now, this is just a small summary of some of the biggest fires, and you can tell this is no coincidence. This is exactly what's happening today with many food farms across the world where they want to implement a food shortage artificially. Back in the day, in the 19th century, the purpose of this was effectively to establish the reset, the Great Reset, which has happened, in which they hid the old world knowledge. And also after this, what happened? The orphan children trains, which kind of were working from the 1850s till the 1900s, and the orphan children trains were literally taking children which were completely orphaned, millions of them, across Europe and then to America as well. Where did these all kids come from? Well, very simple, from the places where all these fires happened, and many adults died in these particular fires, especially because, like I said before, they were in places which are really important, cultural places, even factories, important buildings, historically important buildings, which are of course populated by people, by adults. So guys, this is just one small example of some of the things which has happened in the past to promote that very particular reset which has happened in the 19th century. And guys, that's it for today's video. As always, I shall see you later in the next one. Bye.